Metro City. My city. I've been walking around these mean streets for a long time. Supporting my local business. Going to the local arcade to drop a dime and kill some time. Truth is, this city was quiet and peaceful. Well, unless you count the Mad Kid gang. That was until a mysterious figure rolled into town. While I was playing a nice game of Street Fighter Third Strike one day, I noticed a peculiar character amongst the roster. We don't know his name, we don't know his identity, we don't even know what his hobbies are. All we know is his file name, Q. Q has been a mysterious figure. And so long ago, I wanted to say everything I could about this guy. But the thing is, life is never that simple. One day, while I was browsing my videos, I stumbled across this Enigma. Made by L. President J. Everything I thought I knew about these two was blown wide open. Things have never been the same since, as I've been trying to find out what the heck is going on. Truth is, I don't normally talk like this unless it's a noir scene. So before I close it out, I have to ask, who is Q? Don't you have somewhere else to be than to watch some 20-year-old remake his old video about a bunch of characters no one cares about? Get a hobby! I have been spending a long time trying to find out who these two are. I have searched up a lot of videos, and when was I supposed to learn that G has his own stage? That never came up anywhere. Yeah, I wasn't going to make this video, but then L. President J made his video about Q and G. And it's way better than mine. Go watch him. In fact, I'll link his channel in the description. But all you need to know is that new information has popped up about these two characters, and I need to talk about it. And I want it to be big. I even made a noir scene and everything. So, let's start from the basics. Q. The trench coat wearing thing. Everything about Q is unnatural, yada yada. You've heard me say this before. What you never heard me say before was that in my original video, I asked if Sea Viper knew anything about this guy. Turns out I was wrong. She did know. I just never checked. So that's my bad. I'll immediately take the L on that one. What's more interesting is the fact that Q doesn't really appear that often in any Capcom games, but did appear in one. You see, when I talked about G in my previous video, I mentioned that Q was part of his costume. And yeah, I still stand by everything about that. But the one thing I never mentioned was the fact that he was also a FooTuber, which is essentially a YouTuber except fictional. Which means he's actually good. Oh, sick burn right there. But I never mentioned his actual channel. I never mentioned the fact that he was in any story modes. That was also on me. But basically, the gist of his story is that Rashid tries to help G gain more viewers, but well, the viewer count goes out of control, and suddenly everybody realizes that G has some sort of connection to something. It's also stated in Gil's ending that G is familiar to Gil, or at least his power is. Which is a very odd thing to say. But what's even odder is the fact that G already knows who Gil is, calling him the Ancient One. And then finally in Rose's ending, G's prophecy scared her so much that she decided to reset time, essentially. Or at least send a message back to her former self. Essentially pulling a Raiden from Mortal Kombat 9. And then there was the bombshell of a drop. A bit of lore that I didn't even know at the time. All the previous ones I have no excuses on, I just wanted to make the video quick as possible. But this piece of information, I actually didn't know exists. Yeah, G has his own stage. I didn't know this. Shout out to L President J for pointing this out. But apparently, G has his own stage. And if you look in the background, you will see Q-like figures. Well-dressed men in iron masks. Doesn't that sound familiar? Q and G are in fact connected. This confirms it. And this confirms one of my theories that Q possibly created G. Oh wait, other way around. That G created Q. There is something going on here. So, we still don't know a thing about G or Q. But now with this new information, I'm willing to put on some new theories. I think that G, like President J says, has something to do with the secret society. However, not in the way we think. He is related to them, but he's not in their files, so there's something about G that's kind of weird. But one thing is for sure, G created Q. And the scary part is, there's more than one. Meaning Q is possibly a way for G to spread his influence. And if that's the case, then G is probably one of the scariest villains we have ever seen in Street Fighter history. Now, for a big question. Should G and Q make a reappearance in Street Fighter V? In Street Fighter 6 or 7? Well, G, yes. I feel like we should, only to resolve that weird plot point. But Q? I don't know. The whole point of Q is the fact we know nothing about him. So if he's suddenly characterized in the Street Fighter 6 open world, then we're gonna lose a little bit of that charm. However, there was one idea I heard, shout out to Thorgy Arcade, for actually getting a good idea for how Q would get in there. Alright. And I mixed it with my own idea. Okay, imagine this. In order to unlock G, you first need to get a quest completed. And that quest is to locate Q. Or should I say, the Qs. Wow, that is a really bad name, but okay. After you locate the Qs, and they give cryptic hints, you will find G. And you will learn his moveset. And as his final warning, he will tell you about his prophecy. So, that's how I would put Q in Street Fighter 6. And G. The G is... But one thing is for certain about these two characters. Their story is far from over. We're only scratching the surface on these two characters. So, do you have your own theories about these two? Please let me know in the comments below. And, well, I've been the Gamer Nerd. And remember, we are all one. All of us are part of the earth. I would do the voice, but I'm gonna spare you.